Hey, what's up? It's Y, the team captain of the CMU Rodeo team, and your host for this show.
And I'm Brandon Edwards, head coach for the rodeo team, and your co-host.
Welcome back to another episode of Rodeo Recorded. Now, you should know that I had a bit of dilemma when I was producing this week's show. I was weighing the question, do I split it and make one show for a Utah Valley University recap and make the finale separate, or should I combine them? I figured that all you awesome viewers out there were dying to know the results after watching us all season long. So, get your popcorn and be prepared for one heck of a ride.
At the Utah Valley University Rodeo, we watched the Mavs succeed in multiple events throughout the week, though the team didn't accumulate as many points as a whole as we were hoping, but we were able to recognize some of our ladies on an individual level. At the end of the season award ceremony, we were able to hear a familiar name placed towards the top.
All season long, we have recapped all of the thrills, spills, and triumphs from each weekend's rodeo. For one last time this year, we're bringing you the most exciting moments from the arena. From heart-pounding bull rides to stunning barrel runs, we'll relive the highs, the heartbreaks, and the jaw-dropping action that kept fans on the edge of their seats. So, whether you missed the show or you just want to experience it all over again, we've got you covered. Saddle up and let's dive into the wildest rides of the Utah Valley University Rodeo and see how the season ended at the regional level. This is Rodeo Recorded. Thanks again for joining us. I'm Wiley Mitchell.
And I'm Brandon Edwards. Let's take a deep dive into last weekend's rodeo and the year-end standings.
In the breakaway roping, we had two ladies stop the clock fast enough to make the short go. Both of our Josies came to rope this weekend. Freshman Josie Fitzsimmons was a 4.6 in the first round, and junior Josie Roselle clocked a 4.1 on her first calf and a 3.3 in the short go. This placed her third in the average with a 7.4 on two head. Haley Gibbs of CSI was the average winner, roping a 3.0 and a 2.9. It was awesome to see our girls do so well this weekend. However, at the regional level, we didn't have a single lady in the top 15. The Rocky Mountain Region champion breakaway roper for 2025 was Haley Gibbs. She ended the season with 710 points on the board. The reserve champion was Idaho State University's Reagan Steed with 605 points, and the third and final roper qualifying for this year's CNFR was Lily Bell, who is also an IDSU Bengal.
Now the team roping looked a little bit different at UVU's rodeo because instead of roping steers, we got to rope calves and muleys for the good old-fashioned roping that we're having out there. Now though there were a handful of impressive times, it was pretty wide open. Justice Jones teamed up with Jake Tree of Snow College and made it back with a 16.4, while Shea Grogan and McKiley Brown got back to the short round as well with a 17-second run. The average winners for the UVU rodeo went to the Bowler brothers. Their 9.6 combined with their smoking short go run of a 6.9 placed them at the top for the final rodeo of the year. But there were only two teams who caught two head to get those points in the average. At the regional level, we ended the season with one team of Mavericks on the board. Haley Stroud and Josie Fitzsimmons ended the season in 15th place, and our regional champions for the team roping were the Olsen brothers from Snow College. Swade and Preston ended the season with 855 points. A close second behind them, McCrae Fillmore and Wyatt Rindless-Bacher, and the third and final team headed the CNFR, Will Cutler and Hayden Roundy.
I'm used to bragging on our goat tires, but the last rodeo this season did not treat us very well. Our only short go qualifier for this rodeo was Justice Jones, who tied an 8.4 in the first round. Peyton Bennett of Snow College won the long go and the average with a 7.7 and a 7.6 on a 120-foot score. At the regional level, I can brag just a little bit more. We had four girls end up in the top 15. Freshman Mackenzie Betts ended up 14th, I was 13th, and Shea Grogan was 11th. Justice Jones finished her senior season as the reserve champion goat tire with 1,027.5 points on the board. This makes her the first Maverick in CMU Rodeo history to qualify for the National Finals Rodeo 3 years in a row. Freshman Savannah Donovan of SUU won the region this year with 1,325 points on the board. And headed to the finals in third place is UVU's Ashley Barrett.
At the Utah Valley University Rodeo, we saw a lot of fast runs in the barrel race. Our own Riley Nugent was the only Maverick fast enough to make it back to the short round, clocking an 18.28 in the long go and speeding it up a little bit with an 18.11 in the short go. The hometown cowgirl, Sadie Mendenhall, ended her weekend with an average win. 17.52 won the long round for her, and she placed second in the short round with a 17.48. Now, finally, at the regional level, we ended the year with 3 Mavs on the board. In 15th place, Riley Nugent and Kaylin Beauvais was 11th, and after Gus went down with a career-ending injury, of course, our own Wiley Mitchell ended the season 6 places lower than she ever had before. The two-time regional champ claimed 7th place this year. Now, this year, our freshman barrel racers made a mark in the region. Jessica Poloni of CNCC was crowned as the regional champion with 1,050 points. Reserve championship went to Mackley Larson of Utah State University Eastern with 1,010 points, and your third and final lady headed to the finals is Utah State University's Brooke Morris with 655 points.
Overall, a lot of our Mavs did not have the final rodeo that they were hoping for, but we did have some diamonds emerge under pressure. Let's take a look at this week's short go photo. For the first time in quite a few episodes, I'm proud to say we had a Maverick vest represented in every event.
As a team, the Mavs did not pull actually many points, but instead of kind of admitting that number out loud, we'll just say we were not at the top of the standings for the weekend. Utah Valley University was the team champions at their own rodeo after an absolutely dominating performance with 550 points. And if I'm doing the math correctly, I can tell you that that's about 540 points more than we were, even though we came into last weekend only about 39 points behind the second place standings.
I would dare say how we did this weekend resembled how we did this season. It's been quite the year compared to last year, when we ended the season on top last year and placed second in the nation. This is the first time in 2 years that we did not make it college finals as a team.
The women's team champion by only 68 points this year. Actually, close margin was Idaho State University, and a close second behind them, of course, Utah Valley University, as we talked. Now, the men's results looked pretty much identical. So this year, IDSU and UVU will be sending 4 ladies and 6 men, both teams, to Casper in June.
Byron Christiansen was crowned as the men's Rookie of the Year. Jet Van Biesen won the all-around, and Logan Corda was reserve.
On the women's side, Samantha Donovan was the Rookie of the Year, gaining points mostly in the goats, but a little bit in the breakaway. Haley Gibbs, the freshman there as well, was the all-around champion, and Ashley Barrett was the reserve champ. So that's the season. That's how everything shook out. We talked about the statistics, the nitty-gritty details, but before we end the season's final episode, let's talk about some of our favorite moments from the weekend and from the year.
Now, I don't want to sound like a poor sport here, but my favorite part of the season is honestly the fact that it's over. It's been quite the year for me as a competitor, and this is the first time that I personally haven't qualified for a finals since I was 7 years old. So beyond me not making the finals, it really shows me, I really miss Jack and Gus. And seasoning a new horse in the breakaway roping and in the barrel racing during the season is a lot harder than I expected it to be, especially when I'm used to being a competitor. But I mean, for me, that's just me, my own personal life. But as a team captain, I can say that I'm really proud of our kids this year and how they handled all the hardships. Because again, beyond just me, I feel like our whole team has been through some stuff this year. So I'm really proud of how our teams handled it, and I feel like that we've been through a lot together, and I'm really grateful for everyone on the team and how they've handled it.
Yeah, we kind of talked about it at our rodeo. The theme of this year was that a lot of life happened both inside the arena and outside the arena. Do want to give a shout out, props to Idaho State. So I did talk to Kendi, and I'm going to butcher the actual statistic, but we talked to her at the award ceremony. In the entire history of Idaho State University Rodeo Team, this is the first men's team that they've ever won the region on. So I think she said something, there was almost a 70-year gap since the first team started in like 1950, that this is the first men's team that's ever won the region. Kendi Cannon of Idaho State also winning Coach of the Year this year, so congratulations to her for doing that, I believe, 4 years in a row, if I'm not mistaken. 4 years in a row, or possibly more if I'm getting it. But she definitely deserved it this year, taking 2 teams in the championship spot. Big props to Reagan Steed as well. Love to see her. And good on Mackley Larson. Would love to see what that horse could have done if he had all 10 rodeos.
That is no kidding. She was, what, 40 points behind us
40
all?
points behind and 2 rodeos that she didn't get to go to. So look out for her next season. That's going to be a heck of a battle between 2 sophomores next year.
Yeah, and I mean, also shout out to Miss Jess Poloni. That was, what an incredible freshman season.
Yeah, it's good to see them coming in.
Also, congratulations to you.
Thank you, and thanks to everybody that came. Yeah, we won Rodeo of the Year this year, so 5 years in a row for us. I think anybody who was at the Maverick Stampede this year can say that was some good energy, good people, and got a lot of people in, so we're really happy about that.
Yeah, so for Rodeo of the Year, it's all of the contestants in the region and coaches, get to vote of all the 10 rodeos which one they thought was a favorite. So I'm grateful that we got to win that yet again.
Yeah, nice little, we'll take it as a little bit of a consolation prize on some of the rest of the details of the season, but very proud of it nonetheless.
We at least got our name called once,
That's
right?
it. That's all you
what
need.
we're going to go with.
Yeah, we just wanted to make sure everybody knew we were still in the room.
And I just also want to say I've really enjoyed, another positive takeaway from the season, from the year, for me, is getting to create this show. I've really enjoyed getting to produce these every week, getting to chit-chat with you, kind of recap. And I just really appreciate all of the viewers out there who will keep watching us week after week. This is kind of what I want to go into and do after college. So thank you for supporting my dream job.
Heck yeah, thanks for letting me join you.
Well, that's a wrap for this season's Rodeo Recorded recap. Thanks for joining us as we relived the highs and the lows of the arena. As Rodeo Recorded, we will not be following the CNFR, but you can watch Brandon here on the CNFR Tonight Show. I'm your host, Wiley Mitchell.
That's right. So I'll be your host for a recap show. Actually, not a recap show. We're changing it around. I should have told you this. A pre-show, actually, in Casper every night. We'll be there before the performances. So we'll see you in Casper, Wyoming at the CNFR, letting you know all of the great details that are happening on that stage. And the CMU Rodeo Facebook page will be sharing the link so you can keep up. I'm your host, Brandon Edwards.
And if you enjoyed watching this year, why stop now? We'll see you in September for an all-new season of Rodeo Recorded.